How do you manage and motivate people? In this video, I'm going to share with you a couple of ideas on how to best manage and motivate your people. Let's start. Number one, how do you manage employees? How do you manage your people? You cannot. People cannot be managed. I'll explain in a minute what I mean. And the worst thing you can do actually is micromanagement. Going around to see what your staff are doing 8 hours per day. That's not management. Management is also not you're working 9 to 6 with an hour break in the middle for lunch. This is not management. So since I believe people cannot be managed, what do? This is what you do. You create systems in place. You put systems in place. You create systems where people can just follow to manage themselves. You know, some employees, some people are better in self-managing themselves than others. They are better in thinking on their feet and finding solutions. But a lot of people are not. They need guidance. They need something to see in a formalized manner in order to follow. So what you do as a company, you create systems and procedures where people can follow to execute their tasks. Let me give you an example. Let's say your human resources department or your head recruiter should create an A to Z recruitment plan, starting from the beginning, which is like job spec. Once we have the job spec available, in which portals do we advertise it? Where do we place it? Once we place it there and we have candidates applying, do we set a procedure where candidates will receive an auto email, or do we manually send them an email, or do we call them to invite them for an interview? The first interview, where does it take place? Is it online via Skype, or is it in the office face to face? Who will be participating in the first interview? Is it only the human resources manager, the recruiter, or the department manager? What questions are you going to ask during the first interview? If the candidate is good and you want to invite in a second interview, what questions are you going to ask in the second interview? Who will be present? If you want to make an offer, how do you make an offer? Do you send an email or do you call? Do you ask your new employee to come to the office and sign the employment contract before their starting date or in the first day of work? A lot of companies, especially in Asia, to get commitment from the employee, they invite the employee before their starting day, let's say a week before, to sign the employment contract so they can see if the employee is committed or not. So all that procedure, it should be systemized, it should be formalized and posted internally into your company system where the human resources department, all the employees can access it anytime. And this is where a lot of companies fail to do. They don't have systems in place. And I'm sure you've worked in a company before where a department head or a key employee or a manager is away, either out of the office in a meeting or home sick or on holidays. And the staff of that department cannot find information. So they keep calling the guy, the person is not answering, the employee is not answering, and then the whole department is a mess and procedures and other tasks get delayed. This is why, because there are no systems in place when people can just refer to and find the solution and find what they have to do. So this is how you manage people. Technically, you give them systems to follow. You formalize and you create systems. And number two, how do you motivate people? I actually do not believe in motivation because I don't know what is motivation. What is motivation? Somebody to call you every day 7 o'clock and tell you, yes, wake up, you can do this? In order for your employees to find motivation at their work, you as a leader, as a CEO, as a business owner, you should know your people why individually. You should know what motivates and what drives each employee. For example, let's say you have a guy or a girl in the office who is really into football. and they execute a task really good, or they bring in a new client, a new contract, a big contract, or they do something good, they do something better compared to others, go buy them a couple of Sunday football tickets and give it to him or her in front of everybody to show appreciation. This is how you motivate people. Another way to motivate people is you need to understand why each employee is in your company. Let's say you have Maria, who is 35 years old, developer. She is in for career, she is mature, she has experience. You work with her closely, you give her tasks, you give her more responsibilities, you give her projects to lead, you send her to leadership training courses, because that's what she wants. She is in for the bigger picture. And let's say you have another guy, Robert, who is 23 years old, and this is his first job. Robert is not interested yet in career. He is interested in a job, in paying his bills and leaving every day at 6 o'clock, which is absolutely fine, providing during his 9 to 6, he is completing his task and he's doing what he's doing. And this is where a lot of sometimes business owners go wrong. You know, how do I motivate my people? How do I make my people work harder than me? You cannot, first of all, because don't expect them to do. It's not their business, it's yours. And number two, you need to give every person what they want in order for you to get what you want. So you need to identify the key people in your company and work with them, rather than try to sell the opportunity and the money to everybody in your organization. So I recap. You cannot manage people, but what you can do, you can create procedures and systems for people to follow, to be managed. And then in order to motivate people, find out individually their why and give them what they want in order for you as a business owner to get what you want.